Okay, I'm just going to make sure that everything is broadcasting. Okay, it looks like we're live on everywhere. Ta-da! Okay, let's kick this off. Let's kick this off. There we go. It's the Weekend Craic. It's episode 70.
Wow, that's
70.
amazing. That's amazing.
That is a milestone.
Roll on 100. I don't know what we're going to do for the 100th episode, but...
We need to do a celebration, like a reunion.
But the reality is it'll probably only be next year, right?
Yeah.
That we hit 100. Because we've got 30 weeks to go.
Yeah.
So that's July next week. Cheers, guys.
That's going to be summer in UK. And
Yeah.
I think Leicester's still going to be wearing the same jacket.
Probably.
Spoiler alert, we record these episodes back to back,
Yeah.
right? Lester refuses to change his clothes. So we record the whole month's episodes in one day, right? Just to put it out there. So this is actually not live, this is pre-recorded.
Yeah.
Well, if you sent me some Weekend Craic apparel, I might use it.
Okay.
Oh, no, it's too cold for T-shirts.
Hoodie.
Okay, we'll get you a
You're
hoodie.
mad.
Hoodie.
What would you prefer?
How's it going, guys?
No. Hold on. What would you prefer? Long sleeve t-shirt, a sweater, or a hoodie? Seeing that you've put it on the show now I need to deliver. Right?
Well, we have talked about this on many shows before.
Oh, have we?
I haven't sent you my dimensions.
Well, that was my next question. And I just know, it's like asking a woman how much does she weigh? What size would you like, dude?
At least it's not a first date.
We'll talk about it off air.
At least it's not a first date. It's a 70th. So it's like, it's okay. But the 70th, it's okay. You're allowed to
I've
ask
probably grown 2 sizes since the first episode.
Yeah. And besides, I've known Lester how long now?
Too long.
30 something plus years. I think we're at the stage now where we don't get too offended.
Okay, no, that's good.
By one
That's
another.
good.
30.
Hopefully.
30 years. Can you imagine, guys?
Yeah, who would have thought? Eh?
You guys are still
more
going
than
strong.
30 years.
That's impressive. I mean,
More than 30 years.
you still remember each other's names and stuff.
Where am I?
Yeah.
And where is my horse?
Ooh, talking about horses. We've got something really, really dramatic and sad and thing to talk about on the episode today. But before we get into that, how was the week? Let's start with Oleg, seeing that he's been
Oleg.
absent
Been here for a while.
one or two episodes.
Yeah, the week was cool. I would give it like a 7 out of 10. Mainly because I managed to get some exercise in this week. So I ran, did a bit of swimming,
Cool
went
bananas.
back to swimming in the pool now.
Yeah, what's the temperature of your pool?
It's 24 degrees.
Oh, that's not bad. Mine's up there as
the
well.
ice days
24,
are over.
23 degrees, depending if it's a cool day or like a hot day.
Yeah, I checked my temperature the other day. It was 22.
Okay.
Definitely. And listen, I had a swim. I don't think I mentioned this, but I had a swim mid-September sometime. It was 16 degrees.
Did you do an
and
early morning icebreaker?
No. I was doing some work on one of my motorbikes, servicing it there. I was feeling a bit hot and sweaty afterwards. I thought, should I go for a
Jump in.
shower or should I just jump in the pool? Yeah, 16 degrees.
16 degrees is still pretty chilly. It's obviously not 8 degrees, but still,
Yeah, no, that's
it's
definitely
enough. It's enough to refresh you and make you work on the motorbike for the next 8 hours.
Yeah, it definitely wakes you up. Definitely wakes you up. Yeah. So how was your birthday party last weekend?
Okay, so it wasn't my birthday. It was
My birthday party, not your birthday party, but the birthday
Yeah,
party. you went to.
my mate's birthday party. So it was actually 2 weeks delayed because he was marking exams, and he was he's a lecturer at one of the TVET colleges in Johannesburg, actually in Midrand. And he was marking exams, so he was busy, and it was really hard to to squeeze in the time, and then like that week he's like, "No, guys, let's meet up. It's long overdue." And I haven't seen him for like 6 months, so which was awesome.
Good stuff.
Yeah. You guys are sitting at like 8 and 9s.
Yeah, I'm probably sitting at a 6.
Rough.
It's been a busy week,
Rough.
work-wise. I mean, a couple of late nights.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I think the one night, 2 o'clock in the morning,
That's impressive, dude. That's commitment.
and then a couple of nights, 9 o'clock. So that was at least 3 evenings this week. Not that I'm complaining.
You're not.
No,
I
well,
can,
no,
I can
well,
see
the
by
thing
your
is, you know
facial
what?
expression you're not.
No, well, the thing is, you get to a certain stage of the year, and like there's stuff to be done, and as much as you want to have the life-work balance, at a healthy level,
Yeah.
you do make a conscious decision. Say, okay, well, if I leave this until tomorrow morning, it just means that everything gets compounded.
Yeah.
And, I don't want to be getting to the weekend and thinking, oh, shit, I've got a lot of work to do this weekend. So what
Yeah.
do? Do you work an extra couple of hours during the week? Well, because you're not doing anything else. You're either going to be sitting watching Netflix or you're going to go to bed. Or do you leave it and then I'll catch up on the weekend? And then your
Or you-
weekend's screwed
Or
because,
you could basically spend that time focusing on your mental health and other things.
yeah, that's
No.
between 5 and 7 in the morning, dude, that I focus on my mental health.
Is that when you went for a swim?
No. What, between 5, 6 and, 5? What did I say, 5 and 7?
You
in
said
the
5
morning?
and 7.
5 and 7. Dude, listen, dude, I'm old. I mean, I can't remember what I had for breakfast.
You haven't had breakfast, you forgot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How did you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
My-
Oleg had
my-
to bring
my-
you coffee.
No. It's intermittent fasting is the reason why I forgot to take have breakfast this morning.
Breakfast.
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 Okay, I'm gonna keep quiet now. Lester, how was your week?
Let's
I'm
hear it.
okay. I
See that
mean,
I've taken offense now to my
yeah,
30-year-old
his
friend.
arms are crossed.
Well, your friend is
Um,
not 30-year-old.
I know. You're splitting hairs now.
Hair?
Guys, stop. Guys,
Have you got
stop
split
digging.
ends in your beard?
Dude, I'm going outside for a cigarette.
Stop digging.
You don't smoke. I know.
I had a right week. I wouldn't give it more than a 6 though, but yeah, it was a bit easier. Talking about 3 o'clock in the morning, I started watching Squid Game. Have you guys seen that?
Ooh,
Yep.
No, not
I've
yet.
watched the whole thing.
Not yet.
So yeah,
Just-
I finished it in almost one sitting, and that was a 3 a.m. go to bed kind of thing.
Was it addictive? That addictive?
Look, it's as a fan of Money Heist that you are, I swear it's the same dub voices in this than there is in Money Heist.
Probably they use the same guys for like everything.
That the dialogue is not exceptional, and it is made for the Asian market a bit, but stuff happens, and I think that's what's making it famous.
Well, the thing is,
Yeah.
is that, okay, I watched it with the subtitles, so in
I
Korean
think that's probably a
with subtitles.
better way of doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, like, I mean, it was okay. I don't know what all the hype is about. I mean, it's not a bad series, but it's probably not the best one I've seen.
Sure, I mean there's twists and
And-
turns, and that's what makes it entertaining.
Yeah.
But is it like on the same level as the Prison Break season 1?
Nah.
No.
Nah.
So in terms of like you watch your first episode and you're like,
I think it's-
okay, you hooked. You know,
I think it's like the shock factor. What was that other movie where it was also like a game that you had to get in?
there's tons of them. Like
Yeah, but
the
there was
script.
one that was like the last couple of years, like 2-3 years.
Okay, there's the escape room, right? There's escape
Hunger
room.
Games.
No. There was another. Well, Hunger Games was also that kind of thing, but there was another one. It was like a one-word movie
Saw.
name. No. But it
Cube?
was like
Cube?
a thing where you played a game. It was like a virtual reality game, not virtual reality, a reality TV show game kind of thing. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Big Brother.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that the concept. Yeah,
You never see the bodies in Big Brother.
I'm just throwing it out. Only maybe
yeah.
maybe
But what I'm
without
saying
all
is
the
that
blood and gore.
the concept isn't new
Yeah.
about having a game where potentially you lose your life in it.
Yeah, it's like Survivor, but like with when you get voted out.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway.
You don't go back home.
Yeah. So I watched talking about series, I watched an interesting series last night about Google Earth.
Wow.
It's like who came up with the concept
Yeah.
of
Did
Google
they
Earth.
steal it from someone?
Well, this is it. There's a thing on Netflix based on inspired by true story.
True events, yeah.
Yeah, true events. Yeah.
So did they steal it from Microsoft? Because that
No.
like
They
an
started
IC
from a German development team.
Yeah.
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I suppose when it's based on true facts, I mean, it doesn't really have to be like super Hollywood dramatic. I mean, the fact that it's based on some true events, I suppose that's what makes it interesting. But anyway, it was a good thing. I watched that.
Do you remember what it's called?
It's called the $1 billion.
Heist.
No, $1 billion something. $1 billion.
Okay, I'll check.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
So I suppose while we're talking about
Netflix and
movies and series and all that, I suppose you heard about Alec Baldwin and his
That's
accident
horrible.
yesterday.
That is horrible, dude.
Flipping terrible, man.
But
I
like,
don't understand. And
dude, what is that? What is?
Watching Jaya and her
No, don't
we-
worry.
He got a
it's-
very interesting, like Netflix preview stuff. Like when you open the Netflix app, he's got a very interesting preview thing. But
Oh,
anyway.
I mean, it's Netflix. It's not me.
Yeah. But yeah,
algorithms, man, you can't escape them.
yeah.
Anyway,
so
Why, I just noticed how much Oleg was blushing, though.
I'm like, yeah, okay.
My
Anyways, but going
Innocent
back,
eyes. Yeah, so I don't get it. In this day and age, I mean, yes, there's movies and TV series and all of that made every day. There's guns used on set
prop guns, and real guns.
to represent shooting. Yeah. Well, there's a lot of anyway. Hold on, and there is a mixture of live and blank ammunition that's been used every day, and the failure rate, the safety rate seems to be quite good. Why has it suddenly happened now? All right, that's the first question. The second one is, in this day and age where they digitally re-enhance things all the time, why do you even need to have live ammunition?
First of all, let's just okay. Why do you need to have a prop like a real firearm that's got blanks in it? Because I mean that's what it is. It's a real firearm that's firing blanks. Why do you actually need to have a working firearm on a set in the day and age where you've got visual effects where you can
Recoil.
Well, I
Recoil,
mean,
yeah.
you could but think about it. You could make a prop gun that has the recoil effect. So in other words, when you pull the trigger, it throws a counterweight in the gun backwards. So you have that like recoil effect, right? And besides, they're actors, man. Fucking act.
Is it going to look like? Yeah, but you can't do muscle.
No, but listen. There are some shows that they have done that where they haven't used any prop guns in the old sense, and they've done it afterwards.
Okay.
Like use the prop guns afterwards, or like
No. Did the visual effects
Okay, yeah.
afterwards
So it's
to make it
completely.
yeah,
like-
completely CGI or whatever you
CGI,
want to call
yeah.
it. Yeah.
So my question is, right? So like obviously Alec didn't know that he's being handed a live gun,
Yeah.
right? So that's
And
number
why
one.
would he?
Like, but who takes a rap for this? Who's gonna get charged?
Well, look, the thing is that you've got someone that's on the set that is like the prop masters that are in charge of all the props on the production, right?
But is that a legal appointment?
Well, I think you have specific guys that have to sign in and sign out all the weapons. that are
Okay,
in.
that makes sense.
Even if it's a knife, or even if it's I heard or I read somewhere that even if it's a plastic knife
Yeah.
or a knife that is, like when you try and stab someone,
It actually goes back in.
it goes
yeah.
back inside and all that. Apparently, those things have to be signed in and signed out with these, what they call the armory guys.
Okay.
And they look after these things. So, see, it says here, so like the guns would have to be checked in and checked out.
Like real guns.
Yeah. And they say, like sometimes you'll see this shot where the gun is shooting right at the camera.
Yeah.
They say when that happens, they have special protocols about how they film that. Like there's only supposed to be like one person behind the camera. They put up a perspex screen. Okay, obviously that's not going to stop against a real bullet. But the thing is, what's happened in the past is that they shoot a blank, and then something gets, because it's got like a wax wad in the blank, right?
Yeah.
Depending on where, how they've made the blank. But sometimes what happens is that thing gets stuck in the barrel, and then the next time you fire a blank, that thing actually comes out
Yeah.
and can hurt someone. So this is what they say, is they put up a perspex screen, they only have one person behind the camera, or whatever it is. They have a protocol around when the actor's shooting in the direction of a camera. So I mean, there are lots of things that have normally in place to prevent these from happening. What blew my mind, okay, because obviously yesterday the news was breaking, you don't actually know the details and everything, other than two people have been injured, one person's died,
Yeah.
the other one's in hospital. The news say that he has been released now. But today, I double checked to see what the latest is. And the latest thing is, this is what they said, is that Alec Baldwin was handed the gun, and it was called by the assistant director as a cold gun. In other words, the gun is safe, right? Turned out that the gun was loaded with live rounds.
Yeah.
Okay? So my question is, what is live ammunition doing on a movie set?
Yeah.
I can understand you've got a real firearm that's going to fire blanks, but how do you have live rounds? Why would you even want live rounds on a movie set?
Yeah.
I
Blows
don't
my
have an
mind.
answer.
It's a good question.
Blows my
It's a
mind.
good question.
Yeah. Anyway, so
You
yeah.
think they're gonna I mean, the director was the other guy injured,
yeah.
and considering the emotional state of the cast and crew, are they actually going to finish making this?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's
How
a
many
good
millions
question.
does this cost?
Yeah, I don't know. But I've started seeing some stuff coming out about, it was a very low budget movie, and people are now complaining about low budget movie, working long hours, etc., etc., etc. So, you almost get the feeling that now there's a bit of dissent in the ranks about how the movie was being filmed, what budget it was running on. Maybe people were tired, made a mistake, but still, I don't believe that there should be live rounds on a movie set.
I don't get it. But if you're making a medieval film where they have
Yeah.
arrows,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, same thing. That's live ammo, really.
Well, if you have some rubber, I don't know. Let's do that. I don't know what see, I suppose I don't know enough about how they do these things normally.
Yeah.
Um,
I still don't get the live
yeah.
ammo. I mean,
Yeah. So I mean, look,
that's
this
ridiculous.
kind of thing has happened previously, where there are other people who have been injured or killed on a
Yeah.
movie set under similar circumstances. But a lot of the time, it hasn't been that it's real ammo. It's been like something has been lodged in the gun,
Yeah.
and they haven't checked it properly, and then they fire a blank, and then and then whatever projectile is in there, it's not a real bullet, but it hurts, or in the case of someone like Brandon Lee, actually killed him. Yeah.
Wow. So it has happened before, obviously.
Yeah, I mean,
No, but
it's
this
not,
was not the live ammo, unless we're
No,
talking
not
old
live ammo.
westerns. But this is the blanks going wrong.
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Anyway,
As
and
much
I,
as they
like,
might have these safety steps, and the CGI, and how much you can do with it now, why have live ammo?
I think there's going to be a lot of questions and asked about this and how to make sure that this doesn't happen again. And I mean, I feel sorry for this woman's family. I mean, she's just doing a job there.
Yeah.
Apparently, she's a rising star. I think she went to school
Yeah.
with Oleg again.
No,
She's originally from.
no, not everyone went to school with me.
Well,
so
she's
it's
from
like-
Ukraine.
I mean, it
dude.
was a big school though, wasn't it?
She's from Ukraine.
You serious?
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
originally from Ukraine.
He's googling it now.
Halina.
Yeah, but
Halina Hutchins.
she's married, so I think her surname is obviously her husband. And I mean,
That
she's
makes
got
sense.
she's got
Yeah.
I think she's got a kid or she's got children. I mean,
Yeah.
geez, what a thing, eh? And then, yeah, and I mean, in this day and age, there's social media and all that kind of stuff, and she's posted a video like the day before of them riding horses on their off day on the
Wow.
ranch where they're filming, and it's just like, whoa, it just hits home.
Yeah, that's sad.
Anyway,
Really
and
sad.
also, like, I mean, for Alec Baldwin, I mean, he's a big name in the industry. He's been around for a long time. I mean, I feel sorry for him as well. I mean, imagine carrying the fact that you've accidentally
Shot someone.
shot and killed someone on set. I mean, I don't know what. How does this affect him as well? I mean, and not to take away from the fact that someone is being killed, but I think the person that's involved in it as an accident obviously is going to carry quite a lot of guilt
Yeah.
around
Yeah,
that.
that's really sad.
Well, I'm sure. I mean, it's early days, so I'm sure we'll hear a lot more coming out from that.
Yeah.
Anyway, interesting.
Yeah. That's a depressing topic.
Yeah. No, it
No,
is a
it's-
depressing topic. I
It-
could
it's
go on
one
to
of
another
those-
one if
it's
you
probably
want.
one of those landmark things that they'll talk about for years as a case of how not to do things and what have
Yeah.
we learned from it, and new stuff will come out in the back of it. Yeah, maybe all our future films will be cartoons.
Oh,
Yeah. It's the
CGI.
safest way.
Yeah, anime
CGI.
is quite big at the moment. Have you seen that
Yeah.
they've done like a Star Wars, or the people that whatever his name is, George Lucas or whatever, gave some of these anime artists the right to make anime shorts based on Star Wars characters or Star Wars. What's the name?
All right.
It's pretty cool, and I think there's a series there. I can't remember what it's called. I'll find it. I'll send it through to you. I mean, I'm not sure if you're interested in that stuff, but
Are you a big anime fan, Lester?
no. Well, I don't know about Lester.
Like,
I'm not.
you heavy into manga?
No, but I'll tell you a story about one of my trips to Tokyo. And I got there on the weekend to get over my jet lag before the working week. So I was walking around the tech district looking for some cheap iPads. And
is there such thing in the universe?
they are cheaper there. But
Like by how much? Like 5%?
The apple with 1p.
the default language you have to read anyway. No,
Yeah.
but so I was walking around the area, and it is, if you're ever in Tokyo, it's mental. Just go to that area and just absorb it all. But I noticed this queue, and this queue went on and on, block after block. I'm like, what the hell? People are just standing in this queue for ages, and it's not moving.
Yeah.
It's just, and it goes around and around, and I followed it to the front
It
to
was
see what the fuss was all about.
was a Louis
And yeah,
Vuitton
it
store.
was a famous artist, anime
Okay.
artist, and people were just there to get, him to sign their name on an autograph thing on a picture. I mean, they must have been there for bloody hours. There was thousands.
Don't you remember those days standing in the queue there to get
It's
an
pre-social
autograph
distancing.
from the dude that was from Airwolf or whatever his name was?
Oh, him.
Do you guys but when was the last time you actually stood in a long queue? I
For
can
what?
tell you exactly. Like
For the vaccine line?
no. Besides that, it's like
Frankfurt Airport
that's
2 weeks ago.
That's
3
true.
weeks ago.
So like my latest experience and like the vaccine line is like was a long queue,
Yeah.
but nothing compares to our Home Affairs.
Oh, that's a whole
It's
new
nothing
genre.
compares to Home Affairs is a different ball game. It's like
Can I tell you, the Home Affairs office in London
yeah,
is exactly the same.
it's
Same
amazing.
color paint on the walls.
Don't you
it's
think
the
it's
same
amazing?
service. It's the same. Come on. Oh, what do you mean I've got the wrong form? They counter 13 told me to go to counter 46 and get this form and then bring it back to counter 8 and now you tell me that was for nothing. I've lost 3 hours of my life.
Only 3 hours.
and
Only
you still-
3 hours. Wow.
Yeah, but you're back to the start. Oh, gosh.
Yeah, so Oleg, you had an experience recently, right? How long did it take? 5.5 hours.
5.5 hours. I was there at 7
In
o'clock.
Home Affairs.
Yeah. Actually, it was longer. It was about 7 hours.
Didn't you go there like the first time and then
I went
and
there
then you left and you
I went there the first time and then like, but because I came late, I was like, okay, this is not gonna happen today, because what they did is they came out at 10 o'clock and I just rocked up there at 10 o'clock thinking is like, oh no, I can get my stuff done. and then basically one of the Home Affairs guys came out and says, okay, we're cutting the queue. Like anyone past this point, like we can take your names down and you can come back tomorrow.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's like I was like way past that cutoff point. So I was like, okay, cool. It's like,
Yeah, no, the thought of me having to either go get my ID replaced. Okay, I suppose you can do that at the bank. Passport, driver's license, renewal. Oh my God, dude, I dread having to do that.
I renewed my driver's license this week.
Yeah. And
Guess how long it took me?
15
5 minutes?
15.
5 minutes. Not
5
even
minutes?
5 minutes.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're shitting me.
I did it from this very spot.
Wow.
Online.
Yeah.
Don't they do an eye test or something?
No.
Check your sanity. Huh?
Well, they were. I mean,
DNA
everyone in this
sample.
country is mad. So how do you do that?
I don't know. Yeah.
It helps. No. I mean, you just fill in the form. There's There's online service where they ask you all sorts of questions, and it's more about ID fraud and protection against that.
Mm.
Yeah, but they pretty much just take my passport photo and use it for my driver's license.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's cool.
it's 5 minutes, mate. I didn't have to leave the house.
Yeah, we need to do an eye test.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, so that takes you all, I don't know.
That makes a lot of sense. I don't know why we don't do that here. If
So-
you can see this online form, your eyes are fine. Increase font by this much.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So
Font size too, Can't zoom in.
we can't talk about this now because otherwise I'm going to start, giving away my age,
It's okay. It's okay.
Mm. Yeah. Right. So
What else is going on?
well, the other day we were talking, Leslie, last week we were talking about you went and did your first business trip out of the UK.
Yeah.
Oleg will just have to catch up. You'll have to go watch last week's
You'll have to
episode.
go watch the episode, yeah.
But on the back of that, there's something that came up during the week that I saw in multiple places. So not
Tourists.
only... No. Not from the... online, man. Everything I see is online, okay? I don't go out of the house, right? I'm quarantined for life. Is a discussion around the 4-day work week. So I suppose during COVID, we've been talking about working from home, et cetera, Now, I think companies are getting to the point now where they're actually having to make decisions about, okay, how they're going to operate going forward. I mean, a lot of businesses, people have gone back to the office. Some other companies are saying, oh, you can work in a hybrid sort of environment. Other companies are saying, well, if you want, you can work permanently from home. etc., etc. Now I see the conversations moved on to the next thing, which is the 4-day work week. And obviously Tim Ferriss wrote a book a couple of years ago about the 4-day work week, and I read that thing and I was thinking, yeah, how am I going to do this? Because you need to have the kind of job that you can work and travel, which I think COVID has created that kind of environment now. But I see that
Take your COVID with you.
yeah, you can take your COVID with you. But yeah, so there's a YouTuber that I followed for quite a while now, because he was a guy that was producing podcasts, which I was obviously listening to his podcast because of the guests he had on, and obviously also where, to see how he puts his podcast together. But I've been following him for a couple of years now, and I see he put out a video this week about the 4-day work week and what the origins were of the 4-day work week, or the 5-day work week, sorry.
5-day.
Yeah, and the 40-hour week and so on. And then I saw an article here in South Africa also talking about they think that South African companies are going to start looking at the 4-day work week. And what are your thoughts on that?
Well, if you think about it,
In your personal capacity.
yeah. So
Sure.
during COVID times and working from home,
Yeah.
we work longer hours.
Yeah.
So there has been a big drive pre-COVID in Europe to start getting people to be working the hours that they're paid for, which is what the 40-hour work week. And there was restrictions put in place that people couldn't work beyond X amount over that hour rate. So companies were then liable if somebody was. And as part of our employment terms and conditions, quite often you're going to find waivers to that clause, that requirement. So you can work as many hours as the company needs you to work. Okay, so that aside, I mean, if we're working the long hours, then working a 4-day week, we're actually working our allotted hours.
Yeah.
So working 5 days a week, we're going to be over every time.
Yeah, sure.
And in my personal capacity, that that the 12-hour work days become the norm. I typically start at 8 in the morning because my official working start hour is 9. But I start at 8 because that's when my colleagues in Germany are awake and working. So my typical day starts then, and then I finish about 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock at night. 6 o'clock I dream.
Yeah.
On a good day, I'll finish by 7. So that's 11-hour days. So that's 4-day working week like that is 44 hours. Yeah, because now also in these COVID times, you can't just have a meeting like you would in the office, or you can have conversations with people that you're sitting next to. Now you have to book slots in diary. There's not enough slots. So now suddenly your lunchtime, you're working through your lunchtime.
Yep.
You grab yourself a sandwich or whatever it is, and then you'd go into the meeting and you'd be drinking and eating in that lunchtime meeting. So, yeah, I mean, I'm all for it. But does it work practically?
Yeah.
If you think of the mining companies, right? So the mining companies produce, they work all around the clock, and they produce minerals all around the clock. Their supporting organization is office-based. So quite often those supporting organizations don't work the weekends. So the mining operation could come to a close, but I'm not going to generalize here. But if you're going to move to an office-based thing, it won't work, because if you're a supporting organization, you can't support production. So therefore, it won't apply to all office-based workers. It has to apply to what the company does.
Yeah, sure.
So now we're going to start scratching the surface around what is fair. Does it change people who are going through university now and go, well, I don't want to work 5-day weeks when my mates are working 4-day weeks in their industry. I'm going to now move my career into one of those that works a 4-day working week.
Yeah.
So then we start having under-resources everywhere.
Yeah.
So
But
it's a novel idea, and I think something needs to happen, but I don't think it can be practical.
Like, from my perspective, right, has anyone actually tried this?
Well, they are starting to trial it in certain companies and in some countries like Spain, Japan, and New Zealand are busy running trials, and companies like Unilever, Shopify, and Microsoft Japan have
That's interesting.
been doing it, yeah.
Because the Japanese culture supports
like
supports long working hours, long working weeks.
24/7, 24/7.
So just because one company, a non-Japanese company, decides to implement something, doesn't work. I mean, didn't Google do that whole thing around no specified annual leave entitlement? So you could take as much holiday as you wanted, or as little holiday as you wanted. It's up to you,
Yeah.
the individual. They don't put the corporate structure in place and say you have to take so much time.
But
Yeah.
it's
This is
unpaid,
how it'll
right?
work. No.
You serious?
No, but the thing is, you're working in a group.
Yeah.
Who are all working on some awesome stuff, and they're all working long hours, and everyone's contributing. If you suddenly pull out and go, I'm going on holiday for 2 weeks, they go, oh, okay, well, thanks for your contribution. And then suddenly, socially, you feel, oh, I'm letting the side down. So what's actually going to happen is the reverse. You would think everyone's just going to take loads of holiday. Well, no, the reverse will happen, that people will burn themselves out because they never go on holiday.
You think so?
Well, it's an experiment that's underway at the moment.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's going to be interesting to actually see the outcome.
Yeah, well, so my thoughts on it are like this. I think I agree with you. There are certain industries that this would work in better than others.
Knowledge base.
Well, yeah. So I think, like creative kind of jobs, maybe even IT jobs, those kind of things. I think it would work fairly well in, because I think what's happened with the working from home thing and the change in the paradigm there is, before it was you worked your hours. So in other words, you clocked in at 8 and
Clocked out at 5.
5 or whatever it was, okay? And you would go into the office and your company can monitor that. You badged in, as an example, and you badged out, and they can see how long you were in the office. Doesn't matter how productive you were, you fulfilled your requirement. You had to be at the office for 8 hours. Okay, I think this working from home thing changed that on its head. It went to a very sort of trust-based thing, because now they can't really monitor how accurately. They can't monitor when are you working. Yeah, sure, they can see you online or not online, attending meetings, not attending meetings. But I think the measure became, what are you producing, right? What is the productivity? Are you getting the work done more than how many hours did you put in? Okay. And I think when you change it to that, to, okay, I'm measuring you on your productivity, on how much work you're getting done, then all of a sudden a 4-day work week can be possible, because, they say the benefits are that you're more productive in those 4 days than you would be over 5 days. So the theory being that you would still be able to get the same amount done in 4 days as you could as in 5 days, but the benefit is that you actually get one entire day off to do something else, which is one of the benefits, is this whole work-life balance thing. And, to be able to get the same...
Yeah, sorry. I was going to say, when we many years ago, we implemented a more of a flexi working setup. Right,
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
it's specifically London. If everybody was working offices in London, you'd have, what is it, like 10 million people commuting into London a day and 10 million out. So your transport services are crammed, roads are crammed, people were late. If there was any disruption of service, people were late, and it was uncomfortable. Crammed, overpacked transport is just not. It's unpleasant.
Yeah, it's not
So
cool.
we said, well, we'll trial the flexible working setup. So we tried it with, you can work 1 day from home a week, and we'll also make your starting and end times per day flexible. So if you wanted to come in an hour late, you work an hour late. If you wanted to leave early in the afternoon, you come in early. And we gave time perimeters on that. So it allowed people to travel at different times.
Yeah.
So if you're an early bird, then you want to miss all the packed trains, you come in early. I mean, and it kind of worked because we were in the office, but I don't think it works now
Yeah.
because of this lack of diary time for you to catch up and meet people.
Mm.
we had core hours that you had to be in the office as part of that flexible working, so that if you're going to book a meeting, you would have a 6-hour window for those meetings. And we had less meetings in those days.
Yeah.
So it kind of works. So I think if we move to a 4-day, maybe, I think I like the idea, but I think what will probably work in my situation is we'd probably make it a 4.5 day, so that you have a full-on 4 days, and that 5th day is just there for you to catch up, and it'll be a half day.
Yeah.
And if you're caught up, you go. If you're not, it's that kind of flexibility. So you're ready to start, and you're prepared on that half day at the end of the week. You're prepared to start for a full day on the Monday.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you just have full-on days, and you get to the end of that day and go, I've done nothing. I've just been in meetings. I've still got all this work to do. When do I do it?
Yeah. Yeah, like I think you definitely, because I mean, like you were saying, based on how we're working now, and like everyone's calendar's full, and you're making meetings at odd times that you would normally not make those meetings, purely because that's the only time you can have a chat with that person. I think what I've realized is that we almost need to have a sort of like change around how we collaborate. It's like, are meetings the most effective way to get stuff done? Collaboration. Because I could spend some days, I could spend 3/4 of my day in meetings, and you only really start working at 3:00 in the afternoon. And then you bang in 4 solid hours. I mean, that's 7:00 at night. So you started at 8 in the morning, meeting. You might have 15 minutes between meetings, but that's not enough for you to, depending on what kind of work you're doing, is, in those 15 minutes, you're checking email, you're responding to email, whatever. You're not actually doing work. You're not like...
So when you
you're
come
just
to
doing
do that,
admin.
so it's the end of the day when you're tired,
You're
is
really
when you're
fucked.
supposed to be productive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're really fucked. So what I'm saying is, for this kind of stuff to work, I suppose it really depends on the industry, the kind of work that you're doing, and also us changing the way that we collaborate. I think we've got lots of tools now, productivity tools, collaboration tools, that we've got to find new ways of working with them to make it effective.
So it's a cultural change as well as an environment change.
Yeah, I think so.
People
or
have
like
to get used to this.
well, I mean, you think about how when you transition from, say, like email to instant messaging. I mean, there are a lot of people that still use email religiously. This is the way that I collaborate with people. But like with Teams now, you've got instant messaging. You can create groups. You can create groups that are around a specific subject. You can have specific channels that are for specific projects or for specific subjects and all that kind of thing. So in my mind, and I'm not
Teams
saying I'm right.
Teams is excellent, dude. Like,
Yeah, exactly. But it's the way that people are using it, is that everyone has to buy in on how to use it effectively, to collaborate. If I think about it, like I'm trying to set up a meeting, and there's supposed to be 6 of us in the meeting, and every time I try and set up the meeting, at least 2 of the people are not available for whatever reason. And especially if there's people in different time zones,
Yeah.
as far as like America.
Yeah, it's understandable.
Like now, I mean, you've got a very, very narrow window to have a meeting with people that overlap in terms of their work, official work time. Then plus you've got all these people that have already got other meetings. It's very, very difficult. But if you create a channel and everyone is engaged on that channel, you can have a conversation
On that channel.
over a period of time where you can still come to the same sort of conclusions that you would have if you had a meeting. It might take a little bit longer,
Yeah.
but if you take into account the fact that you're trying to set up a meeting where everyone's available, that might take you 3 weeks to get that.
Yeah, that's
right?
true. That's true.
But in that 3 weeks, you could have potentially had the conversation, but everyone needs to be engaged in that conversation. So in my mind, based on the kind of stuff that I'm working with, I would say that for this kind of stuff to work, is that you would need to start changing the way that we collaborate in the workspace. And I think we're getting there slowly but surely. We've got the tools. Now it's just about getting the right sort of behavior around those tools.
So can I give you my 5 cents?
Yeah, go for it.
So I think Teams is amazing because it's like, like I think the information that's basically relayed in most of the meetings, most of like 45 to an hour meetings can be relayed in 5 minutes.
Yes.
It's and if it requires your input can be condensed to a minute, and it can definitely be condensed to a paragraph in the Teams. So I think meetings still have a place in terms of especially like project kickoff and project wind down, and basically if you have any issues that you need to resolve specifically and it requires specific discussion around a niche, right?
Yeah.
You can have that in like a 5, 10, 15-minute meeting in terms of like, okay, this is the problem. What are we going to do about it? How are we going to tackle it? Everyone's on board? Yes, no? What are the questions? Solve it. Alternatively, you can do the same thing on chat. If somebody says, I have an issue, I'm struggling to get this bit of the project to work, it's like, then people come up with suggestions, just post.
Yeah.
Try this, try this.
But all of this sounds great, but it does require your workplace culture to be in line with it. People are afraid of sharing ideas that freely. So if you have that environment that is contributed,
That's true.
In my environment, I have to draw blood from stone in many cases, which is just, it's tiring. And a collaboration like that would be a dream.
Like in terms of
but some people do. So I think it's something that will evolve. You've got to have the tools out there and start using it and setting examples and showing people how this works and the benefits of it. And over time, you'll have more adopters.
Oh, fair enough. But I mean, you can also, if you're a person that has an idea, is like a little bit concerned about putting it on the public group, if you know what I'm saying, you can still have a one-on-one. You can still send that idea through to the person that's, let's say, the leader of that group. Let's say I'm on a project and I'm doing some as a software development example, and I'm busy developing an app, and there's input on some of the business rules, and you say, "Oh, I'm a little bit stuck. I need some help," and you put it out to the general group, and someone has an idea, but they're not comfortable putting. They can always send you a direct message and say, "Hey, listen, I was thinking about it. I saw your problem that you've got. Here's an idea. What do you think?" Right? And then what you can do is you can take that idea. You don't even have to say who it came from, and you can put it on the general group, and the rest of the people can answer it. So there are ways around that. But then again, also, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's good, because the other thing that this works and what supports is there's a lot of people whose English, our working language is English, and we're in 196 countries around the world. So there's a lot of people who don't have English as their first or second language and don't feel confident on a call to talk things through. So actually having these tools allows them to be able to have time to craft something in their non-first language.
Absolutely.
And put it out there.
Yeah,
so
because I mean,
that level of collaboration should improve.
Yeah, and going back to what you were saying about people being nervous about putting stuff out in the general thing. I mean, think about when you're on a voice call and there are 10 people in the call and you're nervous about giving your 2 cents. Now you talking and there's like, no one's got their cameras on. There's no body language. There's no feedback.
Yeah, you can't.
It is actually quite a daunting thing.
Yeah.
So in my view, it's actually easier to have that conversation typing in a general group. And you might still feel a little bit nervous about doing it in a general group, even when you're typing. But yeah, I think it's a lot better than being on a voice call with no video turned on. And you're nervous about saying something and then having to do it in front of 10 people and you don't know what their reaction is. Yeah. Anyway.
I started posting a lot of GIFs in the Teams chats. Yeah.
Memes. And what's the reaction?
Well, people think it's not professional. And maybe it isn't. But this is about breaking down cultural walls that we have. Think about a different way of working.
Absolutely.
Put it out there. I'd just like to see what their reactions are.
Yeah.
And
but I mean, you see, there's always going to be a few people that are going to have to take the rest on the journey with them.
Yeah, some people will jump on it, others will take a long time and maybe never get there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I'm just testing it. I'm testing it
sure.
to see what the reaction is.
Yeah.
Just Lester, be careful. Don't become a meme.
I already am.
Have you downloaded an app where you can create your own memes?
No, but I'm not far off that.
Yeah. Well, because I mean, I think sometimes, I think it's, in my view, with this virtual working environment, I think things have become a lot more relaxed. In the sense that when you're at home, you casually dressed. You're not in the office wearing office attire. So it's I don't know if everyone's like that, but I think it's a mental thing. That
Have you worn your shirt and like formal stuff?
never.
Like for how
Never.
long? How long?
Well, I've even when we were in the office, I was not like that. Remember?
You used to wear a shirt on some stage.
Yeah, but I changed that quite a few years ago. I went the jeans and t-shirt in the corporate office.
Yeah, but you can probably get away with that because you're in the IT world.
Yeah.
But no. But anyway, going back to what I was saying is, I believe the environment that we've found ourselves in because of the working from home thing is a lot more relaxed than it was before. It's a lot more collaborative.
Yep.
And I think it's got to a point where it's a lot more like putting a meme out on a work chat thing has become a little bit more acceptable than it was before. Because what I found now is we've actually got the Teams and then we've also got the WhatsApp. So we've got a team we've got a group that's on the Teams environment for let's say the one team, and that same team has got a WhatsApp group, and the content that goes on the Teams thing is different to what goes on the WhatsApp group.
Yeah.
So a little bit more relaxed on the WhatsApp group, and the stuff that's on the Teams is a little bit more formal, a little bit more business.
professional. Yeah. But I find Teams amazing because I work across different ventures and different geographic areas. So, and we have different channels, different groups and everything. And it's a very efficient way of communicating information. It's like you just post stuff to the group or to your channel, or you have a meeting on that channel, and whoever can't attend, meeting is recorded, they can always catch up and comment on it afterwards. So it's a very efficient way of communicating the information.
Yeah.
It's like, I know if I post on a certain channel, there's only certain people on that channel that will have to read, what I post, not because they're on that project, it's and they need to know those updates. So it's a very efficient way of communicating information, because it only takes me 5 minutes to condense the information that would have been relayed over a half an hour meeting. It's boom.
Yeah. And also the thing is that what I find is that people then can respond to that in their own time.
In their own time.
In between meetings.
Yeah.
Early in the morning when they're having their coffee. Later the afternoon when they, finalizing everything. So
I work closely, I work closely with the team based in Canada, and some people that I'm working with are actually sitting on the west coast of Canada. So that's additional 2-hour time difference to the 7-hour time difference.
Yeah, sure.
So it's 9-hour time difference. So to organize a meeting that includes everyone, it's
yeah, well, dude,
somebody's gonna draw a short straw.
Yeah, try have a meeting where the one guy's in Australia, the other people are in South Africa, and the other people in Canada.
So we're actually having that meeting. So we have that meeting with our broader team that's across our parent company and etc. And some people tuning in from Oz, some people from Europe, some people from South America, some people from Canada, and some people from South Africa.
Yeah.
So it pretty much covers the whole globe.
Yeah.
In terms of the time zones, and somebody has to draw the short straw.
Yeah, and I think this is where, going back to the flexibility and all the sort of ways that we can work like this.
Yeah.
I mean, if you know that you've got a meeting like that, and it turns out that the meeting for you is 8:00 at night, right? You have to be working for a company that it's comfortable for you to, between 3 and 4 or 2 and 4 in the afternoon, go off and do your own personal stuff, go to the
Yeah.
home affairs or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then you're going to, the problem is when you get into a situation like that, if you are counting hours, it becomes very, very difficult.
Yeah.
Very, very difficult and very stressful for people. If I know that I got the work done that I needed to, but I actually only put in 6 hours today,
So
should I feel guilty or should I not feel guilty?
So you can't have that type of thing in an environment where, so like you can't schedule a meeting 9 to 10 because people just want to attend in the environment that's counting hours.
Yeah, sure.
If your contract is, let's say, just 8 to 5, it's like you basically, that's what you do. It's like if you schedule a meeting for like 9 o'clock, nobody's just gonna rock up.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's the bottom
But-
line. And it's like if you guys want us to rock up, you have to pay us overtime.
But I
because
think
that's- you're counting hours, we're counting hours too.
Yeah.
It's a fair thing.
But I mean, I think at the moment, we're sitting in a position where, and I think this is happening with lots of companies, they are now gone into the hybrid working. You working in a situation where theoretically it's very, very easy to be flexible, right? But the actual contract that you have with your company that you signed 5, 10, 15 years ago is still exactly the same as when you signed it.
Yeah.
And there has to be a point where they put it on paper that you're now working in that sort of flexible thing, and it's more about productivity, in other words, deliverables, rather than working 8 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. But
I think that's important because what's going to happen is the employee, both the employee and the employer, are at risk until such time that they have that conversation and put that, have that agreement.
so I'm not sure if you heard, right? So the big thing in the in the social media type space, especially like working environment, HR consultants, etc., across like Europe and North America, is the fact that we are facing the Great Resignation in terms of like a lot of people are quitting because their companies are not willing to accommodate flexible working arrangements.
Yeah.
And that's happening all the way across North America, Canada, US, obviously Europe, etc. Because people want flexibility,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
It's
And
the greatest indirect message ever. People
Yeah.
want flexibility.
Yeah. But anyway, let's change the subject because I see Lester's starting to fall asleep there.
Yeah, Lester's pulling amps.
I'm actually searching for my meme here. I can't find it.
Do you do that in meetings too?
Yes.
Disengage while you find the appropriate meme.
Oh, that's
so-
funny.
Talking about social media and social apps and all that kind of stuff, and as
Yeah.
we get to the end of our episode and we get close to having another Trumpism, I thought I would
Think I know where you're going with this.
yeah. Did you hear that Donald Trump is launching his own social media app?
I'm just surprised you guys haven't downloaded it yet.
Yeah,
Well, you have to be invited. You can't
I
just.
tried.
You can't just. You have to be invited.
yes.
Can't you
So
guys get
it-
invited?
No. Did
Strange,
you?
no?
You don't know the right people.
Yeah.
What's it called?
It's called Truth Social.
Truth Social.
So yes. So
I just like for the experiment's sake, I think it would be interesting to just check it out.
yeah, sure.
Like what's the worst thing that could happen?
But I mean, if you're such a high profile person,
Famous last words.
yeah. If you're such a high profile person and you get banned from Facebook and Twitter, what is your next step?
Truth Social.
Yeah, create your own fucking app. Exactly.
Do you think he's been sending texts to himself? Because
don't know.
he's got into the habit of posting on social media. Now he can't post on social media. But I've got to keep typing. This is what I do
Yeah.
on the toilet in the morning. Oh,
But,
look.
Yeah,
I have
he created his own WhatsApp group.
but apparently it's been making big in the US because it's got like subscription rates that's rocketing like
Oh, really?
every single day, like millions of users joining.
No, this is not good.
So you know where it's going. No, well, you know where it's coming from. So
Yeah, well, he's whole thing is that he wants to fight back against big tech, right? But what's interesting
yeah.
about this thing is that the terms of service agreement.
Identical to Facebook's.
No. It prohibits users from making fun of the site. So to access the platform, the users have to agree not to tarnish or otherwise harm, in their own opinion. In our opinion, that's the app's opinion
That is interesting. I don't think that's on Facebook's. It's like
of the
because
site. Yeah,
you can talk stuff about Facebook on Facebook, right?
yeah, you can. You can.
No, but man.
But you can't tarnish
Anyway.
the truth, right?
It'll be available to the public next year. So they've got a small group of invited users at the moment. And there's even a screenshot of what it looks like. You can go to the Apple website and you can see what it's going to look like. Follow the truth. What's really happening? Find your
dear.
friends.
This is propaganda. This is not social media.
Yeah, well, I suppose you could
where do
argue
you-
that social media is
But
propaganda.
where do you draw the line these days? Like that's what I'm wondering. Like where do you draw the line? I mean, it's like all the big social media giants. Like Facebook, Twitter, most not Instagram as well. They're running data analytics on our profiles and the data in terms of like just giving us what we want. So it's
Well,
like.
Just think about this. I mean, what is the advantage for Trump to have his own social media platform?
You have a following.
Well, besides that, is the harvesting of the data. Because effectively what he's doing is he's tapping
Building the army.
Oh, well, look, the thing is, I mean, he's tapping into, like in the case of Facebook, right? Facebook owns the data and whatever. So Trump doesn't really have real access to the actual data.
Yeah.
Now Trump will have direct access to the data of the people that are using his social media app.
He wants to control the fake news.
Well, exactly.
But yes, does he then own all this data and is going to make money off it? Is that where you're going with this?
Well, no. Well, I mean, in terms of if he wanted to run again,
He could.
because he was saying
could.
that he wanted to run again.
Well, the
Or
propaganda channel.
He could find himself a protege that buys into his ideals,
You mean his son-in-law?
value system.
You mean his son-in-law?
Yeah, well, one of his sons, yeah. Then they've got the data available to them to know what the sentiment is. There must be some value in knowing what your followers are thinking, or what are they prepared to do. Yeah.
But Trump's got a hardcore following, like properly hardcore. Like,
Yeah. Look, I mean, there's no
dangerous.
doubt. No,
Uh-huh.
it's exactly. I mean, it's not like he's got like like here in South Africa, when you look at the political landscape, there's the ANC, and then there's the DA, and then there's the EFF. And I mean, the EFF are very vocal, and there's always rumblings. But I mean, how much of the voters do they have? What,
5%?
5%? Yeah, 5%. There's nothing. How much percentage-wise? Trump is up there. Eh?
Trump is up there, yeah.
He's like what, 40%?
In fact, I think most of the most of the conservative Republican voters would vote for him.
There you go.
And that's because US is split almost like 50-50.
Yeah.
It's like that's a lot of people, dude.
Yeah. So I think it's a different. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how and what happens with this. I mean, would you enjoy it? If you could have access to that app, would you download and subscribe
For
to that
sure,
app?
dude. I want to try it out, man.
But I'm interested. So I would download it because I
I'm-
want to see what's happening.
I
there.
want to see what's happening there,
Yeah,
just for the interest's sake.
Exactly.
Because I'm way past that stage where I could be influenced. I think.
This is a test.
Except maybe by Facebook or Amazon or to buy stuff.
Or by
Yeah.
this podcast.
Yeah. But yeah, so maybe a lot of our content next year for the Weekend Craic will be coming from Truth Social,
But
bringing you the true fake news.
But remember, you can't make fun of the app, right? Otherwise, you're gonna.
No,
You'll
we
never
won't make
get
fun of that.
allowed into the group if you carry on like that.
I wonder if we could get a sponsorship for Truth Social.
Oh my goodness.
I don't think Lester likes where it's going.
I feel vulnerable right now. All right, talking about Trumpisms from the leader of the former leader of the biggest democracy in the world. Here's one for you. ABC News interview in June 2019, where Trump was cited as saying, "I don't call it tweets, I call it social media."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So maybe we're going to have a different word in this Truth app. We're going to have a different word. It's not tweeting. It's just truths. Have you truthed him? Have you truthed it? We'll see.
Most likely, I don't think Lester's too far
Mm-hmm. Too far from what?
from the truth.
It's the truth if you say it's the truth.
Yeah.
Oh dear. I had one here from a rally in New Hampshire in February last year, and this is Trump as part of his rally. He says, "People come up to me, they say, I'm not," and he starts that, and I'm like, hang on, you're in office, you're surrounded by Secret Service. What do you mean people come up to you? What a load
Exactly.
of rubbish.
Yeah.
I mean, I went to the White House many years ago, and you couldn't get close, man. There was more bloody Secret Service. Oh yeah, there was more Secret Service than actual tourists. And you knew there was Secret Service because there was a big Secret Service written down the side of their cars and on their jackets and on their high-vis vests. I mean, it's not very secret, but anyway, they were clearly visible.
Most likely half of
Anyway.
the tourists were also Secret Service.
Yeah.
So people come up to me, they say, "I want to thank you. My wife thinks I'm a total loser, sir. She thinks I'm the worst person with money, with financial. She thinks I'm just horrible. And the last 3 years, I'm up 94%, sir. She thinks I'm a total genius when it comes to finance." This is obviously because they think the economy's revived and the investments are paying off.
Yeah.
It's like, what? You just made that shit up, man. Come on. Yeah. Because you've thrown your own stats in there. Oh, yeah, the economy's up 94%. Bollocks. Okay. All right, here's one. Another rally in June 2016, long time ago. "I really believe I have the greatest temperament there is." It's a big word for him and me. My temperament is totally controlled. So beautiful. Really?
Oh shit.
Okay, let's talk about
Yeah.
something else. Today, on this day, well, it's National Day today. There's some nice ones. Now that I can't find it, it's National National Slap Your Irritating Coworker Day. How
Now
do you do
that
that
you
when we're all working remotely?
Exactly. You send them a meme, dude.
You did a little punch in the team
Yeah.
session.
Slap in the
Yeah.
face.
I'm all for this, but why do it on a Saturday?
Yep. They got that one wrong.
Yeah, but like one of the days is going to be Saturday, right? Because it will be a different day every year.
Well, I suppose you could always say it's the first Friday of October.
Okay.
Or
You do it on a
whatever.
Monday.
Yeah.
Oh no, Friday, because you've had a whole week for the person
Yeah.
to really irritate.
But I mean, it's
Yeah.
like a public holiday. If it falls on a Saturday, it must be on a Friday.
And you have a carte blanche.
Yeah. Yeah.
Today is iPod Day.
Yeah, baby.
Uh,
Did you guys have
National
an iPod?
iPod Day, not even international. All right, so iPods were announced. The first iPod player, it was called a player, was announced on this day in 2001. So it's 20 years ago today.
Mm.
Wow.
Ish.
It's been
Did you
20
ju-
years.
Yeah, and did you know that there's a story behind that as well? That the guy that invented the MP3 player and took it to Apple, or
Yeah.
I could get my facts wrong here, but
Yeah.
apparently there's a story behind this, that the guy that invented it didn't get the recognition that he was
You serious?
due. Yeah, he didn't have enough money to take out a worldwide patent. So he could only take a patent out, let's say, in America, but he couldn't take out a patent everywhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway.
Geez, that's hard because they sold 100 million devices in 6 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
Yeah, I heard.
Did you guys have an iPod?
I've never owned an iPod. No.
I had an iPod and a shuffle.
I also had an iPod.
The only
I still
Apple
have
device.
I still have my iPod.
Only Apple device I've ever owned is an iPad.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yes.
Yeah, that's hectic.
But my kids
I'm
were
sorry.
early adopters.
I'm sorry, dude.
They had iPod touches,
Yeah.
which I thought was actually a flipping good product.
Yeah.
Because I mean, effectively, it was an iPhone just without the cell phone,
Yeah.
this mobile,
Yeah.
functionality. And I mean, for like them as kids, they were at their stage where they were like, they were having they got pocket money and they were saving it up and they could buy themselves toys. At the end of the year, like we encouraged them, said, okay, 50% of your pocket money that we give you, you can use sweets, whatever you want to do. But then the other 50% you need to save, right? And then they realize, they get to the end of the year, they've got all this money saved, they can go buy themselves this toy that they want.
Yeah.
And then eventually they got to the point where they realized, but hang on a second, if I don't buy sweets and I save all of my money, at the end of the year I've got more money. Then they can buy themselves a more expensive toy. Then they eventually got to the point where, hang on a second, they want to get a Nintendo Switch or those Nintendo like Game Boy kind of things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then at that time I said to them, well, why don't you guys rather look at getting an iPod Touch? Because then you can because the problem with a Nintendo is that you can only buy Nintendo games.
Yeah.
Right. Rather get the iPod Touch because then they always bring out new games. You can download a lot of them from the App Store. Some of them are free. Some of them you have to only pay a little bit, and you can listen to your music and all that kind of stuff. And it was actually, I think it was such an amazing product, the iPod Touch.
Well, they were criticized, Apple, around the iPod because it had it was so controlled that you couldn't share content, you couldn't share music.
Yeah.
You had to buy your music through iTunes.
Yeah.
Yeah, even battery, everything about it, you had to have
Some things don't change.
Apple parts. Yeah, so they controlled it, and their whole reasoning was, well, this is how we ensure that it works every time as designed.
So I watched an interesting video about the new iPhone 13, where the guy purchased 2 identical iPhone 13s. All right. So what he did was he opened them up, he took out the motherboard from one and put it into the other, just to see if it was going to boot. Identical iPods, same generation, same basically parts, identical in every way.
And
it didn't. It didn't.
Okay.
Hang on, bought in the same country.
Bought in the same country, in the same store, ordered from the same store. It's like 2 identical products, right? So what he was doing is because this is a guy that specializes in iPhone repairs.
Okay.
Right. So he demonstrated it's because he said previously that Apple uses soft lock and hard lock on their parts in terms of how they design. And what he did was he basically switched the motherboards around. And when he switched it on, wouldn't recognize the screen, wouldn't recognize it was running in some sort of safe mode. So you didn't have a full functionality of the iPhone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fingerprint sensor wouldn't work, camera wouldn't work.
Wow.
It's if you get an iPhone, it's going to be very hard to repair it by third-party providers, except if you send it to Apple.
Yeah, I think that's anti-competitive, in my view.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
So even the screen, you can't just replace the screen.
But they'll find a way around it, dude.
Maybe eventually.
Because I mean, how do they make it that it only works like that? It must be something at the
on the firmware level.
Yeah, on the firmware level. Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. That's crazy. Just going back to the iPod thing. I've just Googled it quickly. There's a guy by the name of Tony Fadell. He was a former employee of General Magic and Philips who wanted to invent a better MP3 player. After he had been turned down by Real Networks and Philips, he found support for his project with Apple. He was hired by Apple Computers as an independent contractor to lead a team of 30 people to develop a new MP3 player. So that's it. That was the guy that actually came up with
So he just
iPod.
had a salary. He didn't get
Yeah.
compensated for his invention.
Yeah.
But didn't he later become, was hired at Apple and was involved in
Well,
the
look, I
first
mean-
iPhone design?
Yeah, I suppose. But I mean, the thing is that, like, you think about it this way. If they hire you, like you
Yeah.
come with an idea and they hire you, I mean, what do? They buy the rights to the whole thing.
Yeah,
Wouldn't
yeah.
you rather be the person that comes up with a patent
Yeah.
and licenses that
Yeah.
patent
But
to a company
he needed
like
money
Apple?
to develop
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Like, so it's
Exactly,
like he wanted to see his idea through. So you know what the interesting thing is? This guy, Tony Fadell, I think he was involved in creation of the first iPhone, because what Steve Jobs did is he put two teams together that work in complete isolation. They didn't know about each other's existence, and the idea was to come up with like an iPhone type prototype.
Yeah.
So one of the teams was led by this guy, Tony Fadell, and the other team by somebody else. I don't remember. And what happened is that Tony Fadell's team actually lost out,
Oh, really?
and the other team came up with, the iPhone as we know, the first
Okay.
iPhone. And what happened was, during the unveiling of the first iPhone, that's when Tony Fadell actually knew that, his prototype wasn't chosen.
Oh, yeah.
And then during the unveiling, Steve Jobs actually deleted Tony Fadell's number from the address book.
Yeah. Oh, where did I hear this? I heard this the other day.
This was like the first iPhone, and then
Oh,
basically
yeah, this
was a sign that Tony Fadell was fired.
Oh, I was watching something the other day where they said that the guy found out that he had been fired by the fact that when Steve Jobs did the demo, he had deleted his...
Yeah. That's
yeah.
Tony Fadell.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, there we go.
There's another guy behind all this, is Johnny Eve.
I thought you were going to
Well,
say Johnny English, but anyway.
Well, he is English.
Okay.
Johnny.
Johnny.
Well, he was one of those guys who was in the background as Steve Jobs, ran the show and did all the things that he did. But the actual designer, the product designer behind the iMac, the Power Mac, the G4 Cube, the iPod, the iPhone, the iPad, the MacBook, Apple Store design, Apple Park designs, was this guy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and
Sweet.
he was just ticking away in the background, making all this stuff. Because part of it is, it looks good, it feels good. It's appealing. It's not cumbersome tech
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
it was before.
Yeah.
It's very accessible. You don't need to know how it works to use it.
Yeah, geez, dude. Give an electronic device like an iPad to a 2-year-old. Or not even a 2-year-old. You'd be surprised at how quickly they pick up how that thing works.
Yeah.
eh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Does
it's
a
highly
2-year-old have a fingerprint?
Yeah.
it's highly intuitive, and it's like accessible.
Facial recognition works today, doesn't work tomorrow. Ding.
Damn it. As kids grow up, we've got to get them new clothes, new everything, and a new iPad.
Yeah.
They grow up
You
so
got to wipe
fast,
the iPad every couple of weeks because 10th attempt to wipe the device. Is there anything else interesting happening today?
Well, it's something I haven't really looked into, but on this day in 1998, Swatch
Yeah.
announces internet time. Now, well,
So-
wind forward a few years and talking about Apple, and they brought out their own watch.
Apple. I watch.
And I used to take the piss out of my friends because it was like, it's a watch. It tells the time, but better. You know. So, do you get more precise time? Okay.
You get better
But hang
time.
on, Swatch, who were obviously working on our normal time clocks, and they were producing some great stuff in the day. Great entrance into the market at the time, and they're still doing well. Okay, and that was I won't go into the history of Swatch, but it's quite interesting. But this whole internet time, but we already have an internet time. All right.
Yeah.
This is what I don't get. But basically, considering that they rely on the normal timing methods that we use today and have been using for hundreds of years, the Swiss watch company invented a new unit of time called the beat,
Right.
which corresponds to 1 minute and 26.4 seconds.
That is random.
Under the internet time system, a day is divided into 1,000 beats. So they've gone metric on time.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And
That's
that's
cool.
now internet time. Well, no, that's just a different way of doing time.
Time, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's only.
But I suppose it's all about branding, right? You're creating a...
Well, it
Just
must
come
have
up
been
with
a
the
marketing
idea.
thing.
Yeah. Sorry, it's all
1
about
minute.
marketing, not branding. All about marketing.
I mean, it's never going to take off. That's quite a slow beat, right? 1 minute and 26.4 seconds. Doof. You
Yeah.
know, if you're sitting at the drum machine, you're like, dish. Right.
So, you know-
26.4, poof, dish.
you know what's an interesting thing is just like, since you mentioned time, like last comment from me. I watched an interesting documentary on Netflix about time, you know, like and how we measure time. And there was a piece there about the NASA guy, an American astronaut, who spent a year in space. And he was one of 2 identical twins.
Oh, right.
So what they also measured is how fast he was aging. And after spending a year in space, he was actually 5 seconds younger than his... No, seriously, 5 seconds younger than his twin on Earth.
Oh, like I can believe that, but like, how do they quantify that?
Yeah,
How
but
do
hang on, they weren't
measure
born at exactly the same time.
time?
The born
One was going to be born a minute before or after, or
No,
however
no.
long it was.
But I suppose they took that into account.
They
you
took
know.
that into account.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
So
but-
does he look younger now?
yeah,
because he
he's actually
spent all that
5
time in
seconds
space?
younger. You can see.
How do you
crazy.
measure that? 5 second aged? Oh, you looked
So,
younger than your
so
brother.
the interesting thing is, you know, gravity has effect on time and
Yeah.
how quickly or slowly it flows.
Okay. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I would. But this is.
So in
I'm
space,
still. I'm
you
still
would age
interested.
slightly slower than,
Yeah,
than on Earth.
But I'm still.
Sure.
I'm still trying to work out how do they quantify what your age is. How do they quantify? How do they like say? Okay, what did they measure to say? Okay.
I don't think they measured his actual age. I
Yeah.
think they measured the offset between the atomic clocks on the space station versus Earth.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I get it. I get it. I get it. Okay. Yeah. So they didn't like check something.
No.
physically. No, well, I mean, you never know. They
no,
might
no,
have
no,
a.
no. They just looked at
an
the
algorithm
offsets,
or
the
some
offset
AI.
between the atomic clocks on
Yeah.
Earth and in space.
Yeah. Sure. Sure.
But that would be an interesting idea. Like,
Yeah.
how would you measure it?
So.
No, well,
in
the thing
these
is, like, I mean,
deep
there are these
space-
apps, these AI apps that'll take a photograph of you and they'll,
Thumbsuck your age.
thumbsuck. Well, thumbsuck. I mean, it's based on
Science.
No, it's based on big data, and they're using
Yeah.
an algorithm to work out. So, okay, that's how old that person is.
Have you tested it?
Yes.
And?
Well, my beard's a bit of a problem.
So, like, what's your age?
They can't tell me because of my beard.
There's a fault with the app.
Did you break the app?
Yeah, the app says.
The app is like,
yeah, no, no
you're
results.
Too old. You're too old. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, no.
I am
Well, a
on-
lot of these AI things that use your face and whatever, the beard is a problem, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Not just the
So if you're just outside of Earth's orbit, for a year, you're
age slower.
not.
Slightly.
Yeah. So you live 5 seconds longer. So all these deep space missions.
Yeah, I reckon when
Everyone
you go to
figures
Mars.
they're going to go on a Mars mission. They're going to die. They're never going to come back. But actually, who knows what gravity's like, or not the lack of gravity, or what the force fields are like in deep space?
So
Maybe they come back younger. Maybe they live to 1,000 years.
So as far as I remember, right, the gravitational force on Earth is about 30% on Mars is about 30% weaker than on Earth. So
So you got a bit of a bounce in your step when you.
so you're going to be extremely strong, like once you arrive on Mars. But then I think with time, you
Well,
muscles.
yeah, because you'd be 80 years old as well.
Yeah,
You need that
Yeah.
little boost.
yeah. But you'll still be able to lift up like 100 kgs, like you wouldn't. Well, maybe not 100, but you'll be able to lift up like 50 kgs, like you'd be lifting 20.
Yeah. And the reality of the matter is that you're going to die younger.
Like
Because I mean, the
you're
thing is,
gonna be
if
the
your
first
body,
guy,
if
you're
you were
gonna-
to die when you know, let's say you knew exactly when the person was going to die, and the person would die, but if they were outside of the Earth's gravitational pull or whatever, they would actually be younger, so they would actually die younger.
not necessary
If a person was going to live in like our
framework.
in our framework, he was going to live, I don't know, say 6,000 days. Okay,
Yeah.
You send that same person
Yeah.
to a place where there's the gravitational pull is different.
Yeah.
So in other words, theoretically they're younger because of the
Yeah,
time. But they would still, if we were standing on Earth, they would still die at the same time that we expected them here on Earth.
No.
But for them,
They would die later.
be they would die.
Later.
No, because remember the thing is that you are calculating their age by the atomic clock in that environment.
But remember, there's an offset between atomic clock.
Okay. I still maintain that they die younger.
It's 1 minute, 26.4 seconds.
Yeah. Yes.
1 minute. Okay.
Anyway.
On that happy note.
On that happy note, I think it's time. I think it's getting to the silly hour now.
But would you go to space?
Getting.
Like, would you go to Mars? Like, if somebody offered you, gave you an opportunity and says, Andrew, we need you on Mars. We've got important thing to do.
I would not, because I mean it's a long way there, and
It's
there's
most
only so
likely-
much Netflix content you can take with you.
It's most likely a
And then
one-way
you're
ticket.
going to get to this going, oh, I've got to the end of series 4. I know there's 2 more series coming. I'm never going to get to watch them.
Well, the thing is that how long does it take for data to go from Earth to Mars?
I think, like, if you're using some sort of, like, optical data transmission method, like you're bouncing, or electromagnetic signal, it's pretty fast. But
Well,
it will still
but
be...
it's like it's
it-
something like X amount of days.
No.
Yes?
It's going to be, like, hours offset.
Okay, well we can.
I think
we
it's
can
going to
check.
be hours offset.
It was when.
But let's consider the bandwidth possibilities here.
well,
It's fine for basic communications.
Just say, how long does it take to transmit data from Mars to Earth? Let's see what Google
1
says.
minute, 24.6 seconds.
beat
Swatch was right
5
all
beats.
along.
It takes 5 beats.
That was 1998. They knew what they were doing then.
Dude, you got some interesting searches.
No, that's fucking
Suggestions.
Google. No, dude, that's Google.
It's dead quiet. Are we going to wrap this up?
Yeah, just
Yeah,
not
well,
just
we
like
want to
last-
see. We want to see.
We're doing last fact checking.
Communications with Earth. What's
It
communications?
generally takes
Mars?
5 to 20 minutes for the radio
Yeah.
signal to
Okay,
travel
not
to this-
days. Okay, say 20 minutes. Right.
To Mars,
to Mars. Yeah,
Yeah.
5 minutes radio.
between 5 to 20 minutes. So let's just say half an hour to be on the safe side. It's not too bad, but
We have a problem. All right, stand by. Half an hour later. No, it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, cool. That was rather fun. We'll see you
Yeah,
next
let's
week.
go and have a weekend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's
Cheers,
weekend,
everyone.
baby.
Have a great day or evening,
you have a
wherever
great
you
day.
are, or night, or early morning.
Good morning and night.
Yeah.
And whoever's on the Swatch space station.
Swatch space station. Yeah. How many beats, dude? Start counting the beats. Imagine playing hide and seek. Eh? Suppose it would work the same way.
Like on a PlayStation? Oh no, sorry, not PlayStation, on a space station.
No, I don't
On
think
a
it's a
PlayStation.
PlayStation is a forum for hide and seek.
I'm pretty sure it's possible.
Maybe we'll talk about it next week. Cheers, everyone.
Like, how would you play a hide and seek
on the space station.
on the space station?
I don't know. Maybe.
Bye.
I don't know.
Velcro yourself outside.
Valkyrie yourself to the to one of the modules.
It just reminds me of that Monty Python. What's the world championships? Hide and seek championships. Go watch that on YouTube.